Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sandy. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living and our Christmas Eve service. It is called A Wonder-Filled Life, Celebrating the Sacred. And so that's what we're going to do this evening, is celebrate the sacred through message and music and ritual and love, right? I know that everyone here knows me, but perhaps someone out there doesn't. So my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the honor and privilege of being this community's spiritual director. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing us into your homes this evening. We have some great musicians, two great musicians with us here this evening, and that's Sandy Hemingway and Karen Daly. And so we're very grateful that they're here and lending their beautiful voices and inspiring us with their music. And then there are four practitioners from our practitioner corps that are here also helping. Marianne Atwell-Hardy, Barbara Kane, Diane Carnes, and Carol Cross. And so they're all here with us to really lend their consciousness and their love to the evening. And all of you, thank you so very much for being here. It's for you guys, that we do this for everybody, because this is such a wonderful and sacred time for us to be able to come together in love and joy and peace, all of the things that are, this time, this season is all about, and to be able to come together and bring that to each other is such a really wonderful thing to be able to do. Now, because of the sacredness of the flow of our service this evening, we want to not break it up later, but we would like to be able to do our offering at this time. And so if the ushers will come forward with the baskets. During this season of giving, we feel especially blessed to be able to give from the space of our abundance. And since our words of praise have a great multiplying power, let us take these gifts of love in our hands and bless them with an affirmation. So please repeat after me. Divine love through me blesses me and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you all so very much. I love this title. It's a wonder-filled life, celebrating the sacred. And I think it's the perfect title for this time of the year because wonder is all around us. It's reflected in the story of the birth of Jesus, the wonder of the angels and the shepherds and the wise men, the wonder of a virgin birth, and the wonder of what we believe here at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is the awakening of our Christ consciousness. It's also reflected in the wonder of the return of the sun during the winter solstice, the wonder of an oil lamp that stayed lit 8 days, that is at the core of the celebration of Hanukkah, and the wonder of the spirit of sharing that permeates the principles and practices of Kwanzaa. It's reflected in the wonder of how an overweight old man with a long white beard wearing a red suit can deliver presents to billions of children throughout the night, and the wonder of the power of the Hallmark Channel to completely wrap up all the chaos and the confusion at the start of every single Christmas movie into a gift of the highest and best for all within the last 15 minutes. Every person winds up with the relationship of their dreams, even though they might not have even known they wanted one. And that every town, every school music program, every Christmas pageant, and every family is saved and funded and healed. I like them. Now, what comes up for me around the wonder of the season is that while there are these different holidays and these different ways of celebrating the sacred, they are at their foundation, at their core, more similar than they are different. And for me, what really binds them together is the inexplicable way that year after year after year, these simple stories and traditions touch us in ways that cannot be explained. And because of the indescribable way that they make us feel, we all get lost in the feelings of the season. And that is where the magic comes in. Jim Blake, Unity World Headquarters CEO, says it has to be magic or a spell of some sort, because what else could possibly explain how and why billions of people simultaneously become nice, joy-filled, and accepting of one another for nearly a month. This glittery, sparkly spell that makes us open our hearts and minds and arms to charities, children, friends, families, coworkers, and strangers alike. The magic is the transformation that occurs for a few weeks each year in our own hearts and minds and the hearts and minds of those around us. Life is meant to be experienced, to be enjoyed with all of our faculties. No other season simultaneously stimulates all of our senses quite like the holiday season. No other season restores our childlike sense of wonder quite like the holiday season. So the bottom line is that, wonder is not just present in this season, but it's always and everywhere around us. It's present in nature, it's present in our bodies, in the passing of the seasons and the evolution of technology. The truth is that God is everywhere at all times, or God is nowhere. And since I believe that God is everywhere at all times, then we see that wonder all around us, that presence is there, always the same, and yet showing up differently in each and every single one of us. So this Christmas season is a celebration and a nod to the Christ presence within us and surrounding us. Tonight we celebrate and honor the divine as the presence of wonder, grace, joy, glory, faith, love, and peace. The spirit of Christmas is taking on the qualities of the divine and really shining them out into the world. And we capture that this evening. Through them, we rise higher and grow deeper. So this evening, we recognize, we nurture, we spark new possibility, and we express all that we truly are at our very core. The invitation is for each of us to open our hearts and our minds to the message and the music and the ritual and the magic.
Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the sun Thank you, Sandy. That was beautiful. All right, now it's time for us. Busyness is done. You've wrapped all the presents, you've sent all the cards, you've bought all the stuff, and if you haven't, we're going to pretend that you have. Because tonight is about leaving behind the busyness, as great as that can be, and settling into the serenity of this spiritual gathering tonight. So tonight is a night of light beings coming together to share love, to share light, to share lyrics, and to share a beloved community. So from that space, I know that tonight will unfold in divine perfection, that it will be an experience where we get in touch with the meaning of Christmas, not just the doing of Christmas. And I know that this sets the stage for us to have a wonderful holiday full of wonder, full of spirit, full of unity, and full of love. So that's what I declare that we are up to this night. And I ask you to affirm that for myself and for each other with our words, and so it is. Thank you.
So we're going to begin with this idea of wonder. And before I even begin to have that conversation, I'd like to say I wonder why I can't ever get the flow completely right. So it says the little drummer boy that Karen will be singing later. It's not the little drummer boy. She's singing We Three Kings. So just to let you know that. My error. So wonder, as with most of the words in the English language, wonder can be used as both a noun and a verb. And as a noun, a sense of wonder is a feeling of like childlike delight, right? It's amazement and inspiration at the natural world around us, or at different things that happen, different people that we meet, right? It's a feeling of surprise mixed with admiration, caused by something beautiful or something unexpected or something unfamiliar or something inexplicable. It is the positive feeling that can permeate the body when we experience it and makes us pause in appreciation for things like nature or other things that are greater than we are. I'm sure sitting there, you can all think of a moment or two of wonder that you've had. Wonder, or perhaps some people would call it awe. Right? So as a verb, wonder can be curiosity or the desire to know something. Synonyms can include to ponder or to think about, and it drives that natural feeling of wanting to know more about the world around us, like a young child with a curious mind. A sense of wonder leaves us with an insatiable curiosity, encouraging us to ask different and better questions about ourselves or about each other or about the world around us. And asking those questions and listening for those answers, sitting in the wonder of it all, really can forever change the trajectory of our lives and of the world collectively. Often the things that cause wonder in a person are things that are labeled as miracles, things that we can't believe could be even possibly happening. But one of the problems with calling them miracles is that by definition, they're considered rare occurrences or at least they seem rare, because this term suggests a violation of the laws or some other divine intervention has happened, which has caused this miracle to happen. Now, for me, this suggests that holding off noticing and acknowledging the presence of wonder because we are looking for miracles would mean that we might miss some of the really big, huge moments of wonder that are actually present every moment of every day. And we miss them because we're looking for something that we could call a miracle. Now, I believe that it could be true that we are doing ourselves a disservice by looking for those things and calling them miracles, and not just sitting in the wonder of it all. I mean, how many things can you think about that we feel are really commonplace today that 20 years ago would have been considered a miracle? Why can't we still feel wonder about them? Because they're just too commonplace, perhaps. But 20 years ago, it would have been a miracle. So sometimes we miss those everyday moments of wonder because we're too busy, or we're too distracted, or we're too disillusioned to see and to really recognize what's actually happening in front of us. The underlying truth is that wonder really is everywhere present, just waiting for us to awaken to it. We're surrounded by and immersed right in such awe-inspiring beauty, wholeness, and perfection. The universe is really abundant and splendid. There's no limits to the wonder that Spirit has created and continues to create each and every single day. Every person, every flower, every stone, every animal, every drop of water is unique. Each and every single one of them different from the other. I think that's kind of wondrous to begin with. We live in a wonderland that invites us to marvel at and experience wonder everywhere we look and everywhere we go, because it's there. And if we were to live our lives from that space of wonder, what could change? Think of the higher vibration we'd have if we were living from that space. So it's everywhere. The extraordinary is always inherent within the ordinary. So the invitation today and all of the days of our lives is to be open and present to the presence of wonder as we navigate our lives, to really look at and experience the seemingly everyday occurrences that are actually astounding. When we really take time to think about it. Do you ever take any time to just think about this body and how it just breathes itself, how it just takes care of so many things without us having to tell it what to do? And when we do this, that which causes the experience of wonder is transcendent in our everyday lives. And again, that could change everything.
I wonder if everyone will echo the lines of this song that you all know. Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? In your palace warm, mighty king, do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere, listen to what I say, listen to what I say, pray for peace, people everywhere, listen to what I say. A child, sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light, he will bring us goodness and light. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. That's one of my favorites. I love that song. Well, today, I'm going to speak to you about grace. And I don't know if I can do it justice in the 3 minutes I'm allotted. But we'll see what I can do. Today, I'm speaking of grace. And as you know, it has many, many meanings. But today, I'm speaking very specifically about divine grace as a quality of God. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. These words are sacred words. They are very familiar to me. I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I probably said this every day for many, many years. And it was always one of my favorite prayers because it always evoked awe and devotion. It was a mantra, a repetitive mantra, something that was said over and over. You know what a rosary is? That is something that you say in the rosary. You say Hail Marys in the rosary. And people say it, they don't know, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. They say it like that. Or you say it after you go to confession, okay, you do 100 Hail Marys and 40 Our Fathers and 10 Glory Bees to God. Okay, so then you go, glory be to God. But it really, if you think about it, is a very beautiful prayer. Later, many years later, after participating in and studying many traditions, which I have done over the years, including the science of mind, which we are here, I understand the words, Hail Mary, full of grace, much differently than I did as a child. To me, it means that Mary's body, her mind, and her spirit, and mainly her heart, were full of love. And they were full of what I call the Christ consciousness. Even before she gave birth to Jesus Christ. So today we celebrate Jesus. And I celebrate Jesus as the embodiment of Christ consciousness, similar to Buddha or Krishna or Allah, many of the great beings and God names. We also celebrate, though, the birth of the Christ child in ourselves, or the birth of the quickening of divine consciousness in ourselves. And that is the true blessing. That is grace. That is the true grace to me. And grace can feel like peace, or it can feel like unexplained understanding, or it can feel like fullness in your heart. And hopefully it does feel like that today. Or it can feel like relief, or it can feel like you're not alone. But definitely, grace is inherently happiness with a capital H. And I say capital H because it is uncaused. It's not because somebody loves you or because you have a new car or we're celebrating today. It's just because we are. It's about being. And the happiness, capital H, is an intuition that comes to us when we least expect it. And this is what I see as the living God. And this happiness is prior to emotions. You can be crying, you can be heart sick, but still be happy. It is an intuition, like I said, of the living God in ourselves. And this intuition realigns us to what is truly important in any moment. Once we taste this freedom, this grace, we want to live from it all the time because we inherently know that it's the truth. And so that is what we're doing here at TCSL, trying to help ourselves to live from this truth every day. So grace to me is that moment of revelation, that moment of blessing that bathes us in peace and awakens our hearts. And it can only come from what I'm going to call our source. Well, you may call it God. I call it God or divinity. And it comes to us in so many ways, often through surprising ways. It can be a serendipitous meeting of somebody. It can be a song. Maybe it's a talk given by Reverend Dusty. That maybe it touches you personally, as hers did for me recently. She said that we are spiritually guided and supported during difficult times just by asking for it, praying for it. She said our souls are always becoming who we were created to be, and that life is always inviting us to the next becoming, despite what it may seem. This is not verbatim. This is kind of, how I remember it. And she said, life is always flowing and it's always expanding in us, even though it may look terrible in the meantime. She said, we are always growing and blooming with divine grace. And Dusty equated this grace to the divine gardener who guides us and lifts us up like a gardener would lift up his precious grapevines to grow. And I think that is a wonderful analogy. And it is this grace that helps us to grow to a positive new us, fuller, opener, more open-hearted. Now, Ernest Holmes said, I quote, Grace is the inherent, ever-present givingness of spirit to creation. We must recognize and align with it. So it's always there. But when we think it comes to us, it's because we aligned with it. And he said, allowing divine abundance and goodness to flow into our lives as we stop struggling and rest in God's sufficiency. It's about perceiving the blessings already there and to become channels of that grace. And may we all experience divine grace this Christmas and grow in love and wisdom. Thank you. Yes.
That was beautiful. What child is this who's laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh. Come, peasant king, to own him, the King of kings. Salvation brings. Let loving hearts enthrone him. Raise, raise a song on high. The virgin sings her lullaby. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary.
So beautiful, thank you. All right, so I am here to talk about joy, which is one of my favorite topics. So, but the first thing that sort of came up to me is that, we don't go to each other and say, oh, have a joyous Christmas. We say, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We don't say joyous Christmas. And to me, I kind of change things a little bit from what Diane said. But we love this in Science of Mind, that we all have the freedom to look at things our own way. To me, happiness is very different from joy. To me, happiness is an emotion, and emotions come and emotions go. So what she calls her capital H happiness is sort of what I think of as being joy. And a metaphor I would use for it is like the difference between weather and climate. So I cannot tell you what the weather's going to be like on Saturday. Weather is temporary and it depends on all sorts of stuff, and who knows. But I can tell you what the climate will be this month. I can guarantee you that the average temperature in December is going to be lower in North Carolina than it is in July in North Carolina. And that's because climate is not temporary. Climate is created by the fundamental physical laws of the universe. So our climate is created by gravity and the laws of thermodynamics and the laws of momentum, and they don't change. Every year, it's colder. On general, it's colder in December than it is in July. And that's what I think we're talking about when we're talking about joy. We're talking about that experience of bliss that doesn't come and go, because it is a spiritual quality. And spirit doesn't change. Spirit is eternal. Spirit is always love and abundance and beauty. And joy is one of those qualities. And I don't think, the two necessarily go together at all sometimes, because we don't know a lot from the Bible. But I'm pretty sure that Mary wasn't that happy when she was having this baby Jesus. I mean, that's not what most of us who've had children say. Oh, how happy I was when I was in labor for however many hours. And I'm so happy about that pain. And I'm so happy about the messiness. And I'm so happy that my body was doing things that I could not control. Yes, that made me happy. Maybe there's some out there, but I don't think. And Mary, poor Mary, it was cold. It was dark. She was way away from her family. She did not have the community of women who she would normally rely on to help her through this experience. And she's on straw. I mean, itchy and dirty and icky. I don't think she was happy. But I absolutely believe that she was joyous because she knew what she was up to. And part of the reason I get that is because the most joyous moment I ever had in my life was when I first had my son in my arms. And I could see the light of the divine in him because he was so fresh from that place. And we tend to lose it. We forget. But so to me, joy is just that, like wonder, like awe. All of these things kind of run into each other. But the thing about Jesus is that Jesus, like our philosophy isn't really big into the he died for our sins sort of thing. But we tend to think that he chose to die for education, for our illumination, for our revelation. Because through his experience, the master teacher, we realized, this stuff is not really who I am. Who I am is an individualized part of spirit. And I always have been, and I always will be. And that's the kind of experience, I think of when we talk about the Christ consciousness. That when I can really sink into knowing that truth, life is bliss. So tomorrow, I wish you the holliest, jolliest, merriest, fun-filled family, friends, food, all that stuff that we do on our human experience is Christmas. I love that stuff. I think that's part of the reason we decided to come incarnate on this planet to, have those experiences. But what I wish more is that you take some time to get quiet and to tap into that Christ consciousness that's in each one of us all the time, and have at least a moment or two of happiness with a capital H, joy, bliss, and wonder of this season. And so it is. All right, now it's Sandy, right? All right.
When we were putting this program together, the joy section, obviously Joy to the World came up, and I suggested the Jeremiah was a bullfrog one, and that is not the lyrics that are on your sheet. So we're going to do the other one, but I'm going to ask you to stand up for this because you've just been seated long enough, and this is a joyful song. And so help me sing this. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him
Good, really good. Joy to the world. So I get to talk about glory. And I'll tell you, I don't know how much I thought about glory before I started to think about it to get ready for this. But what I want you to really embody this evening is the idea that glory, this resplendent beauty and magnificence that is all around us, and our praise of it is not directed to some being on a white cloud someplace outside of ourselves or to anything outside of ourselves, but actually to that presence of the divine that is within us, that has been talked about already today numerous times, that the glory that we are given is not to a deity on a throne somewhere, but it is to that presence that is within us. I think so many times, like you're watching some award show and somebody gets an award and they, they're always looking up and praising and giving glory to what I would imagine is they're looking up there for God, right? But I guess makes a little more sense than, like we might just go like this and people be like, what the heck? What's she doing? But there is no deity outside of ourselves. There is that presence, that Christ consciousness that is within us. Now, glory can be heard as an outward breath of wonder toward whatever is greater than ourselves. It's a recognition. It's a moment of recognition, a moment in which we see something so vast or so ordered or so alive that our ego loosens its grip, that we just get taken over by that moment. Mountains can do that to us, right? Births can definitely do that to us. Music does it to me. Silence can do that in a moment of meditation for many people. To give glory is to say, this is not about me, but I belong to it. I am a part of this thing that is bigger than I am. The highest doesn't have to mean up there, right? It can mean the deepest, the most subtle, the most inclusive level of reality, the place where no separation exists, where fear has less authority. It's when our actions really reflect our deepest value, when our gratitude just simply arises unbidden. It just rises up in us. And when we stop trying to own whatever it is that we are experiencing and just simply let it pass through us. God's glory is not reserved for some mountaintop experience or some extraordinary event. It's not reserved for grand gestures or monumental achievements. It is woven into the fabric of our daily lives, just like wonder. It is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. It's in the choices that we make. It's in the words that we speak, and it's in the love that we share with each other. At its core, glory is the celebration of human potential. Our ability to build or to endure or to uplift. It reminds us that ordinary people can create extraordinary moments, and that within each of us, there is something that is seeking to be expressed that can leave its mark, that can touch someone somewhere in ways that we may never, ever know or understand. So however large or however small, however grand or however little, that mark that we leave, we can leave it on the people around us, we can leave it on the world. It's the echo of dedication or courage or creativity or resilience. It's the shine that appears when someone's words speak louder than their doubts, or when their actions ripple out and really inspire others. It isn't something granted by an outside power or measured by applause. It's this inner brightness that really expands and is expressed through and as us when we choose the truth, when we choose courage, when we choose to just simply be present in the moment. Glory lives in the moments when we are able to step beyond our fear, to feel the fear and do the thing anyway. When we are willing to be vulnerable and to really step into our authenticity and to be truly who we are, even when we know that some of the people around us don't exactly like who that is. We have to show up and be who we are. When we honor our potential, when we honor that individualized expression of the divine that we are, when we create, when we grow, when we connect, or when we simply do something with intention as a conscious choice. It's the shimmer of becoming and really the feeling of knowing that we are participating in something larger than ourselves. I mean, I'm sure that everybody has had an opportunity or a moment in their life when they really felt like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm so glad I did this. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I showed up. Kind of maybe wanted to stay in bed this morning, but no, I showed up. And what an amazing moment this was for me and for everyone around me. So to experience glory is to recognize that vastness within ourselves and the interconnectedness that we have with everyone and everything on the planet. It's what happens when our actions echo our deepest values and our life becomes a testament to what matters most. Glory is not an achievement. It's a state of being. A state of being. A light that we carry, not a trophy that we win. It's the quiet radiance that rises when we are in alignment with who we are. When we are in alignment with that Christ consciousness within us, and when we show up as that individualized expression, even when nobody is watching. So it isn't about being seen, it's about seeing ourselves clearly. Recognizing our own power and honoring the journey that we have walked in order to get here today. So maybe glory to God in the highest is less a command and more of an invitation. Really, an invitation to lift our attention, to loosen our certainty, and to let wonder have the final word. If even for just a moment. So tonight, I invite each and every single one of us to invite glory into our lives. So it is. We three kings of Orient are
bearing gifts we traverse afar. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following under star. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Glorious now, behold him arise, King and God and sacrifice. Hallelujah, hallelujah, sounds through the earth and skies. Whoa, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Thank you, Karen. That was a perfect intro to what I'm going to talk about, which is faith, another God quality. Tonight, we remember a story that we've heard countless times, the Christmas story. But I invite you to look closer at the characters. The nativity scene is not just a beautiful tableau. It's a living portrait of radical, quiet faith. The Bible says that faith is the substance of things hoped for and is dead without works. So the story begins with a young woman, Mary, in the town of Nazareth, and the angel Gabriel appears to her with an impossible message. She will bear the Son of the Most High. In that era, for an unmarried woman to become pregnant was a catastrophe. It meant social disgrace, public shame, and legal jeopardy. Every human instinct would scream, doubt it, deny it, run. Yet Mary's response is one of the most powerful statements of faith in history. She doesn't ask, how can this happen without a man, out of disbelief, but she asks out of wonder. And once she receives the explanation, her final words are the ultimate surrender. Behold, I am the servant of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word. This is the faith of immediate, costly acceptance. A faith that trusts God's plan is good, even when it completely upends your own. Next is Joseph, the righteous man caught in the middle. When he discovers Mary's pregnancy, he plans to send her away secretly. He sought to balance justice with compassion, but this was still a choice born of understandable human reaction. Then an angel appears to him in a dream, and the message is simple but profound. Do not be afraid. Joseph's faith is distinct from Mary's. We don't have long speeches from him. His faith is expressed in obedient silence and action. He is told to marry her, and he does. He is told to flee to Egypt, and he leaves immediately. This is the faith that requires us to put aside our own reputation and our own logic to do what God commands without argument or complaint. It's the faith that chooses protection and love over social standing. Next, consider the shepherds. They were the lowest on the social ladder, outcasts, often considered untrustworthy. To them, out in the darkness, the angel appears, and the sky lights up with the heavenly host. They're told of a Savior wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. Their response? They hurry. They don't debate the reality of the vision or wait until the next morning. They say, let's go over to Bethlehem and see this thing that's happened. This is the faith of humble, enthusiastic witness. They're invited into the greatest miracle, and their only concern is to see it and then tell everyone that they meet. They show us that faith is not a passive belief, but an active journey toward the wonder of God. On their faith that a new star in the sky meant the new king of the Jews was born, the wise men traveled from Babylon to Jerusalem, a journey of 1,000 miles. For 4 months, with only a star to guide them, they traveled by camels loaded with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. When they got to Jerusalem, they learned that Herod was looking for baby Jesus and were warned of this in a dream, so they went home a different way. They represent the faith of giving their time, talent, and treasure. Mary, Joseph, the shepherds, and the wise men, very different people offering different facets of faith: acceptance, obedience, witness, and the gift of time, talent, and treasure. This Christmas Eve, the story asks us, what act of faith is God calling you in your life? Perhaps it's Mary's courage, Joseph's quiet obedience, or the shepherd's joyful haste, or the wise men's gifts. May we all find the faith to welcome the Christ child into our hearts tonight. And so it is.
Faith, joyful and triumphant, oh come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of David. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing choirs of angels, sing in exaltation.
you very much, Sandy. That was beautiful. I get to talk about love. One of my favorite things. And at Christmas time, love somehow, some way feels closer, right? Kind of feels like it tangible, like you could just reach out and grab it. And not really because the world suddenly becomes kinder. Often it doesn't. But because something in us becomes more permeable. Something in us opens up. And the pace slows. Just enough. And all of the lights that we see everywhere seem to soften the darkness a little bit. Now, love in this season isn't just about romance, right? Or about family harmony. It's presence. Not presence, but presence. It's the way that people reach out across the distance, messages that are sent, names that are remembered, and gifts that are acknowledged. It's the quiet generosity that doesn't need credit. It's just people doing things for each other around the holidays, whether it's a charity or just being there for somebody else, doing something little for someone. That is a form of love that we don't often think about. We don't have to believe in angels. We don't have to believe in miracles to feel something stirring at this time of the year. If you think about it, long before theology, humans gathered around the fire. They gathered around a fire in the darkest nights of winter, telling stories, sharing food, protecting one another from the cold or the elements. Just being there for each other, being present. Christmas still carries that imprint. We are not meant to face the dark alone. We are here to be there for each other. We are here to care for one another. We are here to be kind to one another. We are here to love one another. Christmas can still represent and whisper something essential. We are held. We are held by memory, by hope, by one another, by that love. We belong to one another, one human family. We're connected by something greater than we are, and that connection can never be broken. Well, I always talk about it as that golden thread of God stuff that weaves itself throughout all of life, connecting everything to each other. No matter who we are, no matter where we are, love, God and love are synonymous. So love is everywhere that we are and is moving through the world because we are, because we exist. The season doesn't erase loneliness, it illuminates it. And in doing so, it invites compassion. It invites caring, both for ourselves and for each other. To be there in a way that we might not be there other times of the year. Not that we shouldn't be, but somehow, some way, it shows up during this season. Throughout the season, love may look like forgiveness given. Not always easy, but a wonderful way to demonstrate love. So forgiveness given, or opening our hearts wide enough to allow our vulnerability to just be out there. Choosing tenderness when cynicism might be easier. Missing someone and letting them know that we do. Allowing the kindness that we are at our very core to lead the way, to be the thing that enters the room first and foremost. If love has a presence, maybe it feels like a softening in the chest or a willingness to pause. Instead of reacting, that we take a moment to pause, take a moment to take a deep breath. Maybe it's a sense that giving and receiving are not opposites, but actually two sides of the same coin, and that we are there and present for both of them. This is love, giving and receiving of it, and being open to that. Spiritually, so we've been now talking about this story. Marianne brought it beautifully to us. This story, the birth of Jesus, speaks about love in a really radical and intimate form. And when we take a look at the birth of Jesus or of our own Christ consciousness, several themes emerge. And the first is that love chooses closeness. Love chooses closeness. The birth of Jesus proclaims a love that does not remain distant or abstract. God chooses to be born as a vulnerable child, entering life fully. Its joy, its pain, its sorrow, its poverty, its elation, all of it. All of it. Spiritually, this says that true love, God's love, draws nearer rather than standing apart or above. That love not only arrived in Jesus when Jesus arrived on the planet, but it arrives with each and every single one of us when we arrived on the planet. That is a closeness. It's within us. The second is that love is expressed through humility. Jesus isn't born into power or wealth or prestige, but simplicity and obscurity. This reveals that love is willing to empty itself. Love is willing to serve. And love is willing to meet others where they are. The third is that love identifies with the vulnerable. A newborn dependent on others for survival reflects a love that aligns itself with those in need. The birth of Jesus declares that no human condition is beneath divine concern. No one. No one is beneath that. No one is held out of anyone's heart. Spiritually, this reassures us that we are loved not only when we are strong, but also when we're fragile. All of the time. Not some of the time. All of the time. Fourth is that love brings faith into darkness. Jesus was born in a world marked by fear, oppression, and waiting. His birth becomes a sign that love enters precisely where darkness feels the strongest. So all of those moments when we feel like we are in the darkest moment of our life, when certainly God cannot be here because I feel like this. But the truth is that God is there in the midst of it, that love is there in the midst of it. It can't be any other way, right? God is everywhere at all times, in its fullness and in its wholeness, or it's nowhere. So no matter where we are, no matter what we are going through, that love is there. And it does not deny suffering. It does not deny suffering, but it shines within it, which promises renewal. It promises healing. That the sun is behind those clouds. It's a promise that it's there. And that healing can occur. Love is freely given. Nothing is earned or demanded at Jesus' birth. It's a gift. Spiritually, this reveals a love rooted in grace rather than merit, a love offered before anyone can prove themselves worthy. We don't have to prove ourselves worthy. We were born that way. It is a birthright. We are worthy of that love. And lastly, love invites relationship. The birth of Jesus is not an ending, but a beginning. It's the beginning. The birth of our awareness of the Christ consciousness within us is not an ending. It's a beginning. It's a beginning of a life that we can step into that we may have never thought of before, that we couldn't even imagine. It's an invitation. Shepherds, foreigners, the poor, and the powerful are all drawn together because of this child. Spiritually, this shows love as something that calls people together, breaking all barriers and really creating communion. If we brought love, really brought love to each and every situation, not in a demanding way, but just like here, everything could change. In essence, the birth of Jesus says that love comes down to lift others up, chooses vulnerability over force, and enters the world quietly and yet can completely transform it. So tonight, I really want for all of us to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that pure love has the ability, has the power to bless everyone. And in doing so, we can change the world. We can create a world that actually does work for everyone. And the invitation is to be that change agent, be that presence of love. In every relationship, in every situation, be willing to be an inlet and an outlet of love itself. And so it is.
The world waits for a miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh, come, Emmanuel. A child prays for peace on earth, and she's calling out from a sea of hurt. Oh, come, Emmanuel. And can you hear the angels sing? Glory to the light of the world, and glory to the light of the world is here. The drought breaks with the tears of a mother. A baby's cry is the sound of love. Come down, Emmanuel. He is the song for the suffering. He is Messiah, the Prince of Peace. He is come, Emmanuel. And can you hear the angels sing? Glory to the light of the world, and glory to the light of the world. For all who wait, for all who hunger, for all who
I'm here to speak about peace. At this time of year, there's a phrase that often surfaces, the peace that passeth all understanding. Even outside any religious frame, it points something deeply human. It's the kind of peace that doesn't come from things being fixed, not from solved problems, wrapped gifts, or perfectly gathered families. It arrives quietly, sometimes unexpectedly in the middle of complexity. You might feel it in the moment of stillness when the world slows down, in shared silence with someone you love, in grief that somehow holds tenderness. Here we go, alongside it, in awe, looking at lights, stars, snow, or a child's unfiltered joy. This peace isn't logical. It doesn't argue with pain or erase uncertainty. It coexists with them. At Christmas, when the year is ending and emotions are close to the surface, many people sense this paradox. Life is fragile and heavy, and yet something steady remains. Maybe that's what passeth all understanding means, not an explanation, but a presence, not answers, but grounding, not certainty, but a feeling of being held by something larger than our fear. You don't have to name it. You don't have to agree on where it comes from. You only have to notice it when it appears and let it be enough for the moment. And perhaps that's the quiet invitation of this season, to make room for a peace that doesn't need to be earned, proven, or explained, only received. When people call Jesus the Prince of Peace, it doesn't have to mean political calm, moral perfection, or even agreement about theology. It can mean this instead. Jesus represents a way of being that refuses to meet violence with more violence, fear with domination, or suffering with indifference. It could have been denomination. Peace, in this sense, isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of compassion in the middle of it. In the stories about Jesus, whether you read them literally, symbolically, or culturally, he consistently slows things down. He listens. He touches what others avoid. He stands with the overlooked. He challenges power without becoming what he resists. That kind of peace is disruptive. It doesn't numb people, it wakes them up. It doesn't demand escape from the world, it asks for deeper engagement with it. Calling him the Prince of Peace might be less about crowning him and more about pointing to a pattern, a quality, peace that comes from inner alignment rather than external control. Peace that begins within a person and radiates outward through how they treat others. Peace that can exist even under pressure, injustice, or loss. You don't have to believe Jesus was divine to find meaning here. You can see him as a teacher, a moral compass, a symbol of nonviolent love, or a reminder of what humans are capable of when ego loses its grip. In that way, the Prince of Peace isn't someone who imposes calm from above. He's someone who invites peace from within. One choice, one encounter, one act of mercy at a time. And so it is.
Shining, it is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared, and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary soul rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night, oh, holy night, oh, night divine. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord. Oh, praise his name forever. His power and glory evermore proclaim. His power and glory evermore proclaim.
Beautiful, Sandy. Absolutely beautiful. I tell you, I'm in heaven because my two favorite Christmas carols were sung tonight. One by Sandy and one by Karen, and my heart is full. Thank you. So we've been talking about Jesus, and for us here in this teaching, it's really about that Christ consciousness, that not the birth of it, but the birth of our awareness of it, the deepening of our awareness of that presence that is within us, that presence that is there, that connects us one to the other, that is our spiritual identity, the one that we arrived on the planet with. Genuine giving doesn't come from material offerings alone. Yeah, we give a lot of gifts at this time of the year, but true love and true giving doesn't come from just that, but really from offering ourselves, offering that presence, that individualized expression of the divine that is within us out into the world where it is truly, at this point in time, absolutely needed. It's an opportunity to really bring that wonder, to bring that grace, to bring our joy, to bring our glory, to bring our faith, to bring our love, and to bring our peace out into the world in our own unique way. Because each and every single one of us is going to do it differently. And we're here because the different way we do it is needed, or we wouldn't be here. We really wouldn't be here. So true generosity warms and connects because it expresses the infinite. It expresses the infinite through us. Ultimately, as we remember this inner presence and let love guide our actions, then we reveal our own divinity and we participate in divine harmony. That divine harmony that is going to truly change the world, that is truly going to be peace on earth. So the bottom line is this: God created a wonder-filled world, and all of us were created with this capacity to wonder. Not only to wonder as a verb, but to be the presence of wonder as a noun. My invitation today is that each of us choose to remain childlike in our view of the world, to be open and available to each other, and to be open and available to each and every single moment of wonder that the universe provides. To really be open and to recognize it, to acknowledge it, and to allow it to have its way with us. And then to really be able to watch how it profoundly changes our lives. Really profoundly changes our lives. Maybe you even feel a little bit of that now. Before we go on, I want to take just a moment to really acknowledge the wonder that is Sandy and Karen, and to really thank them for their amazing music together tonight that really tied this all together. You couldn't hear those songs any better anywhere else. Truly, truly. And next, to really be able to thank Heather and Ava for their behind-the-scenes working of this, that enable us to be able to bring it out into the world for those people who were unable to join us this evening. To really thank Carol and Diane and Babs and Marianne for their facilitation of their parts and for lending their consciousness and their love to the evening. Thank you all so very much. And to thank each and every single one of you for your presence here, for lending your consciousness and your love of this community to the evening. And for those of you that are out there, we know you're there, we feel you there, and thank you so very much for joining us here. So now we are going to do our candle lighting ritual. And to make it feel more sacred, I really would like you to do what you would do if they were real candles. So don't turn your light on before someone has offered their light to you. And then when they bring that light over and offer it to you, then you turn it on as though someone took a lit candle and lit your candle, okay? Everybody with me? As you pass your light to the person sitting next to you, or maybe you might have to get up and walk a little bit, share with them the light. Share with them the God quality that you are going to bring out into the world, beginning right here and right now. Just share that with them. Okay? And Karen will sing.
And while you're
please
doing all
everybody
that,
join.
sing a little bit of Silent Night with me too, if you would.
Yes,
You've got the
please.
words with you. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven above, and heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, around yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a great, great night.
So everybody, good night. Thank you. And stop back at the tables back there. We have all kinds of finger foods and desserts to share with everyone. So please be in fellowship with each other before you leave. I love you all. Have a magnificent evening and a beautiful day tomorrow.